Public speaking is the second highest fear after death for human beings. According to biology, fear and anxiety are the same thing. You're not gonna rise to the level of the occasion, you're only gonna rise to the level of your preparation. By envisioning that moment, as tough as it was, it helped me to convey her memory as best as possible when I was public speaking. But I had to figure out a way to engage and be relatable with the audience. How do you do that? You tell stories and you make people laugh. And when it comes to public speaking, for me personally, as soon as I start doing it, the fear is gone. How's it going, guys? And welcome to another episode of Secrets to Silent Success. Today we're talking about overcoming fear, specifically overcoming the fear of public speaking. Public speaking is the second highest fear after death for human beings. For me, I'm a professional speaker, so I get a thrill out of going in front of an audience and talking. However, I still get nervous. I still have fear. My hands still get clammy. My voice still gets dry. So how do I overcome that fear? Here are my secrets to success when it comes to overcoming fear and public speaking. Secret number one, according to biology, fear and anxiety are the same thing. I don't know anything about biology. I'm just a videographer, but that's what the book told me. Fear and anxiety are the same thing. You just have to tell yourself a certain story. So anytime before I go on stage, before I have a presentation, before I have a business meeting, before I have to do any type of public speaking, I just tell myself, I'm not scared. I'm not fearful. I'm excited. I'm excited for this opportunity. That's why my heart's racing. I'm excited for this opportunity. That's why my hands are clammy. I just psych myself out. I'll throw on some music, I bob my head, and I get excited for the opportunity instead of scared. The second secret to success is the 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. When it comes to public speaking, when it comes to giving that presentation, when it comes to doing things that make you uncomfortable and scared, you will rise to your level of preparation. If you're going into that meeting, if you're going into that opportunity to speak in front of people and you're scared, how well did you prepare? For me, I'm talking to myself. I'm in the mirror. I'm at my computer desk. I'm in the shower. I'm going over my speech. I'm going over my presentation. I'm going over my meeting notes over and over and over again to make sure that I'm as mentally prepared as possible. Like I said, you're not gonna rise to the level of the occasion, you're only gonna rise to the level of your preparation. So make sure you properly prepare for the occasion. Along with properly preparing for the occasion, that's a lot of P's, comes practicing at your worst. I don't even know where I read this at, but one of the things that I have done when it comes to public speaking is practicing at your worst. What do I mean by that? So when I'm getting ready for my TEDx, when I'm getting ready for a presentation at a company, I'll wait till it's 9, 10 p.m. I've went through my entire day. I've had phone calls, I've had meetings, I've had dinner with the wife, and I'm tired. And then I'll try to recite my presentation. If I can get through my presentation when I've been up for 16 hours, when I'm tired, when I'm sleepy, when I'm ready to take a shower and go to bed, if I can perform well at my lowest, I know when I'm fresh, I'm excited for the presentation itself on the day and I had a good night of rest, I'm gonna knock it out of the park. So one of the things I love to do is practice at your worst. I remember when I was in marching band, yeah, I'm a marching band geek. When I was in marching band, we used to do what we call run-throughs. We would go through the show over and over and over again. Or sometimes what we'll do, band director say, go take a lap. So you go run a lap, you go run 2 laps, you go run 3 laps, and then you have to come perform your marching band show. Why? Because you're doing it at your lowest, you're doing it at your worst, you're doing it when you're out of breath. Like I said, if you can perform at your highest and when you're at your lowest, then you'll be ready to take on the biggest moments. My next secret to success when it comes to overcoming public fear is to envision you're at the event. When I'm going through my run-throughs, when I'm practicing, I'm not just in the shower. I'm not just at my office. I'm not just at the mirror. I'm literally at the event. I'm making eye contact with these fake people in the audience, right? Even when it's something tough that I have to do, I'll give you an example. Just recently, I buried my grandmother, and I had the honor of saying remarks at her celebration of life. No one wants to envision that. But the weeks leading up, when I was thinking about the things I wanted to say, the things I wanted to tell my family, the things that I wanted to remember about her, I envisioned it. I envisioned being in the building. I envisioned saying those remarks. And it helped me even at my lowest, even at a tough situation, when I'm talking to people, when I have the fear, when my voice is cracking, when I have that frog in my throat. By envisioning that moment, as tough as it was, it helped me to convey her memory as best as possible when I was public speaking. Another secret that I have is stories and humor. I believe a universal love language amongst all human beings is laughter, right? So I'll give you 2 instances in which I had public speaking presentations in which the audience did not look like me, right? So in one instance, I had a room of about 20 or 40 individuals, and there were 2 males in the audience, and I was one of them, right? So I'm speaking to an audience of women. I wasn't expecting it. It caught me a little off guard. They were awesome. They were hospitable, but I had to figure out a way to connect. Laughter is a way to connect. I'll give you another example. I had an audience that was almost 200 young men. However, there was 2 men of color in the audience, me being one of them. Again, hospitable audience, had a great time, was a successful event, but I had to figure out a way to engage and be relatable with the audience. How do you do that? You tell stories and you make people laugh. Now, I'm not a stand-up comedian, right? I'm kind of a motivational speaker, business person, right? But I can still tell personal stories that are relatable to people, and I can still make them laugh. So when you're up there, make fun of yourself, right? Loosen up. Laughter is also a stress relief. When you laugh, you're releasing some of that stress. Go out there, make a joke, laugh, be relatable, and have fun with it. And the last thing for overcoming fear, especially when it comes to public speaking, is just to do it. No matter if it's talking to the pretty girl in class, no matter if it's going up and talking to your boss about a touchy topic, or if it's getting up and presenting in front of an audience, anytime you have to deal with a fearful situation when it comes to public speaking, for me personally, as soon as I start doing it, the fear is gone. When I'm up there in front of an audience talking to people, my hands aren't clammy anymore. I'm not thinking about the frog in my throat. I'm not thinking about my mouth being dry. I'm engaging and having a conversation with people. So my biggest tip, my biggest secret to success when it comes to overcoming fear of public speaking is just to do it. So I hope those tips were helpful. I look forward to seeing you on the next one, and hope all of you guys can overcome your fear of public speaking.